Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to episode number 6 of the Courage Pays Better Than Fear podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jeremy Ritz, alongside this guy,
Edmund Fontana.
And we are so excited to be with you today. Today, we're going to talk about a topic that one of our viewers, subscribers out there reached out to us about, and it was, how do I get started? How do I take that first step pursuing the business that I always wanted to, quitting my job? Whatever it is, we're going to dig into that, what we did, what got us started, how we took that first step. So that's going to be the topic. There are no reapers in today's episode unless you got like one hidden.
Thank goodness.
You want to talk a little about how that all went down?
Yeah, so last episode, many of you probably already saw, he thought he was going to get me with the reaper and I was going to be the one that had to eat it. But, it wasn't even that. The whole purpose of it was the punishment side of things, because Jeremy didn't stick to his trading plan on one of his trades, and somehow I was getting punished for it. And I was like, no, I'll eat the reaper. I actually kind of like him. I'm starting to get used to him. But yeah, that did not end well after we got off the show. So we did relatively well through the 30 minutes.
We didn't throw up.
No, we didn't throw up, but
came close.
It was pretty bad. And it not only did it hurt for one day, I think it lasted 2 days. And
in other ways.
And there was pain.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'll leave all that out.
It was the craziest thing. It's like
the burning.
It's a burning. It's almost like a heart attack feeling. It just feels like you got like the worst heartburn you've ever experienced in your life. And it was, for me, it was coming back in waves.
Yeah. So the next day, I think we had a little get together over here at Jeremy's house, and he's just over there by the fire, and I'm just like, I know it's not that hot out, and you're over there, you're sweating. He was just like, I'm telling you, like, it's that reaper again.
Yeah.
So it continued for about 2 days for him, maybe about a day and a half for myself. But it burned, right, in more than one way. So
but it's over.
It's over.
It's over. And that's done. No reapers today. Maybe in a future episode, we do have the tortilla challenge coming up that we'll be doing. And if you don't know if that is, just stay tuned. We'll let you know. We're going to talk about our accountability webinar that's coming up in November at the end of the show. So stick around for that. But as we always start the show, it's the Furious 3.
Furious 3.
You're up, bro.
Oh, man, you didn't get... See, I'm so unprepared sometimes. I should have had these questions pre-planned and I didn't. All right, give me, what was one of your most embarrassing moments in life that you can remember, whether it's childhood or as an adult? What was one of the most embarrassing moments you've ever faced?
So history class, 10th grade, I sat in front of this girl that I thought was like super cute. I'm not going to say her name here, but we were like fooling around, like all of us were joking, and I like farted.
You ripped one.
I was so embarrassed, dude. That's one of them. I got plenty of embarrassment, but that was, you know how that is.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've ever done that. I don't even do that in front of my wife. You, on the other hand, and Michael Les, God, both of you too. I really.
What are you talking about?
I mean, I don't even want to hear it. Don't even try to pass the buck on me.
Okay, building a tree house yesterday. You remember that? It smelled like something was dead.
That was the food I ate at your house. All right, so enough of that. What about what's one of your biggest fears?
Not being everything that I envisioned that I could be. I feel like the best in my life is ahead of me, for my family, for myself, and never getting there, and like looking back at the end of my life and saying, damn, like I didn't get it done.
Yeah.
Like that regret scares.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So embarrassing moments, biggest fears.
Man, you're so negative.
I know. I can't think of anything positive either today. All right. What's your biggest insecurity?
Biggest insecurity.
Yeah. Like what are you most insecure about?
And
then once you guys find out, I want you to blast him on the comments.
What am I most insecure about? It's a good question. I'm trying to think.
You missed it.
I mean, I got a lot of insecurities. Don't we all?
Yeah.
I guess that, that I'm not going back to what I said earlier, just not not being good enough, not living up to that standard that I have for myself, like not being as much as I can be, I guess.
Gotcha.
That's what I would say. I don't know if that was a good answer.
I mean, it was an answer. It was a pretty bad question.
Well, that's what happens when you don't prepare.
Yeah, I know. So that is what we get.
Jeez. I'm sorry, listeners. Poor preparation does not constitute an emergency. Isn't that how it goes? Poor preparation on your part doesn't constitute an emergency on mine.
So that was the phrase that we use for our teachers as administrators. Yeah. So poor planning on your part doesn't constitute an emergency on my part.
Poor planning.
Yeah, poor planning.
Anyway, so today we wanted to talk about getting started. We got a question, had a little dialogue back and forth with one of our listeners, just asking us, how do I get started? They have big goals and dreams, but how do they take that first step? So we wanted to spend some time talking about that. And I could say that, for me, just kind of going back to what I was saying earlier, that I feel like I have something that I'm meant to accomplish on this life. Originally, I thought it was in the school system, starting out as principal, thought I was going to go on and be a superintendent, but it's not there.
What made you think that though? Were you chasing the dollar?
I think at that point I was chasing the safe dream where it was controlled. Safety. You get your paycheck every 2 weeks, you got a retirement, you have health benefits and all that. But I knew deep down there was something I'm supposed to create. I still don't know what it is.
And that's part of what this podcast really is all about. Like, Jeremy's always wanted to create something on his own. We work well together. So, I'm totally on board with that venture as well. I believe in the same thing. And it just kind of leads to doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Doing it.
Just get it done.
And I think that's the best answer for people who are in that position is you just got to go. You just got to do it. And I think back to, it was a couple years and he and I had talked about it, when he left behind education, I wanted to do the same thing, but I knew I wanted to start my own business. And I was like, well, I'm just going to wait until I have like everything mapped out, everything figured out. And I just kept procrastinating and putting things off. And I got to the point where I had so much pain associated with what I was doing. I was dissatisfied, wasn't with my family. And the best thing I ever did was just saying, that's it. And just made the decision. Scary as all get out. But when I made it and it was official, it was the best feeling in the world. And I could say that when I think back to that moment, it's nothing but I will go down forever. How you have those moments in life, like there's obviously meeting my wife, my children, birth my children, but that's one of my top moments, man. Like I will always remember how I felt that day. And that's the other thing too. When you make that decision, for those of you who are, trust me, it's scary, but the sense of empowerment and excitement that you feel on top of the fear, because that's going to be there as well. It's memorable and it's like nothing I ever experienced before. Did you have a similar?
Yeah, I remember. So there was, last couple of years as a high school administrator, or my last year, I was actually a middle school administrator. And I was just going through and, I was looking at myself in the mirror and just like, all right, something's got to change. And I've been talking about real estate forever. I read the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, checked out Bigger Pockets, listened to all these people, do real estate, read the Burr book. I mean, there's just so many different resources out there that I just kept studying. And I was just studying and for probably about a good solid year. That's all I did was talk about real estate. And it wasn't until I went to a dinner. I won't name the person's name, but a buddy of mine. There I goes talking about real estate again. And my buddy just puts his beer down and says, stop talking about real estate. Nobody wants to hear it anymore, right? You're not doing anything about it. Okay. So stop talking about real estate. Like you're not going to do it. It's been a year and you keep talking about it and nothing's done. And I was like, whoa, like, who are you talking to? Like, are you serious right now? Like in front of everybody. And then I was kind of a little mad, but then I was like, you know what? Like, critique that. Like, are you really just one of those people where you just sit and talk? And I was. And all I did was just talk. I wasn't taking any action. And then it wasn't until a little later, I looked at my wife and I'm just like, do you feel the same way about like me talking about real estate? And she goes, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings, but kind of. And I'm like, wow, that was an eye opener for me. I was like, all I'm doing is talking and I'm not taking action. And in my mind, I really thought I was taking action. And I was like, what do you mean I'm not taking action? I'm studying, I read this book, I'm listening to this podcast. It's, but then I'm just like, okay, you're trying to make like you do everything else. You're trying to map it all out first, plan it all out. You got a dollar amount that needs to be in the savings account before you do this. You have a specific time frame of the year that you're going to do this. And then finally, I was just like, I can't remember where I got it from. It might have been, I don't know if it was something Nate Lambert said, but it was just like, you always hear take action all the time. And, there's never a good time to do something. So you can sit here and try to figure this out and plan it all out, but there's never a good time ever. So I said, you know what? I absorbed that and was just like, I'm not going to be one of these people that just talk. I'm not going to say nothing to nobody. And I reached out to Michael Lush. I was like, Michael, what do I got to do? What do I got to do to be an entrepreneur? He said, reached out to Nate, joined his program, which is now called Replace Your Employer. And Nate taught me how to get involved in real estate investing. And I did it, right? Like I went all in. I jumped in February, about 3 years ago. And by July of that year, I didn't necessarily I did a leave of absence. And so I did that for a year. And then this is actually, I went to give my letter of resignation to my school district. It was like March 15th, and literally COVID hit. COVID was around, but COVID hit the next day. And my business partner was just like, hey, go get that letter back from the mailman. Like you can't resign yet. Like I can't be, like I know I'm teaching you real estate, but this might be too early. And I'm just like, it's done. I'm not chasing. I'm not going
burning
after
the bridges.
It's burning. Like it's done. Like I'm all in now. Like I'm 100% invested. If we can make it through this, we'll make it through anything. So you just got to go all in, as Nate Bailey would say, and you got to take action. So don't plan, don't sit there and try to map everything out. What about you? I remember I know you're a planner. So
yeah, I mean, just reading, kind of doing the same things, playing business, I guess.
Speaking of COVID, I think I have COVID.
Oh, great. Thanks so much. Yeah, but just pretend business, like reading right now plans, saying, all right, well, I remember at one point I was like, at the end of this school year, this was like 2 years ago, that's it, I'm done. I'm going to spend this year getting everything in place. It didn't happen. I kept doing it. So I spent a lot of time just kind of spinning my wheels and doing the same thing, talking about it. Nobody called me out like that. Yeah. I wish I would have had somebody. Maybe I would have jumped a little bit
That's
sooner.
where that accountability partner comes into play.
Yep, 100%. And I think,
and looking back at it, like he's a good friend of mine. So like he actually was being a good accountability partner. He may not have thought it at the time, but but it worked.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the big thing for me, and this goes back to one of the questions you started the beginning with, is, if you're in that position where you're hedging and you don't know what whether or not you should jump or whether or not you should stay put, here's the biggest piece. You don't want to live with regret. And we are only granted so many days on this earth. Time is finite. We were looking at these life calendars the other day where each circle represents a day in your life. If you lived up to, I forget what number it is, but you fill in a circle for every day, and it really puts things into perspective. And I know for me, I'm 41 now. I'd like to think that I'm not terribly old, but my kids are getting older. And it was like, you know what, you're either going to do it now and figure it out, or you're going to live with regret. Your soul is going to feel dead like it does. You're not going to feel like you're living your true purpose. And that was me. And he'll tell you, I'm a different person now, that I'm not stuck doing something that my heart wasn't in.
Yeah, no, it was, like I was telling him the other day, I was talking to him the other day, and we're talking about anxiety. Sometimes like I get these moments where it's like, I just feel like overwhelmed and like, I'm not living up to my full potential. And it's because like in my soul, like I know I'm not performing up here. Right. And when I feel that, like it gives me anxiety. It gets, I can sometimes get depressed from it. And I'm just like, okay, you need to make changes. And one of the changes I made 3 months ago was I'm walking around, I'm got this dad bod going on, and I'm just like, I am so tired. I'm 42 years old. Like, I am so tired of this dad bod. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous, right? I'm looking at myself and I saw a picture, and I would not you ever show anybody that picture. No.
Oh yeah, that's happening.
So there was a picture of me.
I edit these videos before I put them up. Right?
Oh my God, if you put that up there. All right, that might be interesting. You know what? I don't care, because this is what I look like, and I saw myself, and I'm like, no way. That's what I look. I looked at my wife, and I'm just like, babe, is that me? She was like, yeah. In the middle of summer when you're drinking a lot of beer and all that other stuff. I mean, it was a side view and all, and I was like, oh, that is disgusting. And I said, you know what? Not having it. Absolutely not having it. And it was one of those things where I was planning, I was prepping, I thought I was going to start working out, and I had all these ideas in my mind on what workout I was going to do, and I was researching all these different, diets and all this other stuff. And I said, you know what? Follow the people that are doing what you want to do. I know Jeremy worked out on a regular basis, and I was like, listen, speaking of the accountability partner, right? He also has a background in what's physical fitness, right?
Personal
training. So I said, Michael Luss and all these guys are just like, hire a personal trainer. And I said, I know who owes me. This guy owes me, right? So I said, I didn't charge him for anything to help him out. So now you got to help me out. I'm tired of the dad bod. Like, I want you to put a program together, and I got to follow it to a T. And we've both been following it. Yeah. For the last 3 months.
Yep.
And finally got my first compliment today, from my wife, which is pretty cool, because she never really gives me compliments. And she said dad bod's disappearing. So
that's good.
It
is, dude. You're looking pretty jacked.
I'll leave my shirt on.
Maybe we'll do like a before and after.
Nah, I'm not doing all that. I want your followers showing up on my doorstep. that girl you ripped one in front of back in the day might be following
10th grade. Oh gosh. No, I'm not even mentioning that name there. But anyway, it really just comes down to whether it's, taking a step to start a business, or to leave your job behind, or to start a workout program, or whatever it is. The best way to start is to start.
Yeah.
It's to start. Don't write it down. If you need to lose weight and get in shape, go for a walk.
Yes.
Go down to sign up for the gym. If you want to start a business, write the business plan of action, or connect with the person who can help you get that started.
Find that mentor. If you want to start a business, find the person that has something similar going, or it doesn't need to be the exact type of business that you want to do, but find a person that has started a business, right? And start picking their brain, have that conversation, build that network, build those relationships, and that will help you move. All right. You got to get moving. You can't sit still and try to plan out everything. One of the biggest mistakes my real estate investors who I train, they always ask me, don't I have to get an LLC first? Okay. No, you don't. Don't I got to plan with my tax accountant first? No, you don't. Don't I have to have a name for my company? No, you don't. You need to start advertising now and get that first deal under your belt. Once you have that, then all the other stuff starts to fall into play, because you will spend so much time on the things that really don't matter that you never get that first real estate deal, right? So you got to focus on getting that first real estate deal. That's my take on it as far as real estate goes. But just so you're doing day trading. Yeah. So what was it for you?
Same thing. I mean, just having a good mentor, working with Jeremy Newsom, who's just phenomenal, super responsive, but coaching me through the process, having a support group through real life trading to kind of show me the ins and outs. I think that's surround yourself with the people who are doing it at a high level, who are being successful, and go.
Yeah. And, I remember I used to think, back in the day, man, if I try to talk to one of these people, they're just going to be, snobby about it. They're going to blow me off. They're not going to pay me any attention. Believe it or not, a lot of these people that are performing at a high level, they want to help.
Yeah.
They want to give back.
That's right? Why they do what they do.
Yes, it really is. And 9 times out of 10, I mean, yes, some charge, but it's well worth it. Some don't. And, you just build those relationships, man. I just got off a phone call. It was a meeting. It was about an hour and a half long meeting with Michael Lush and another business partner of mine. Matt Workman, and we're venturing down a completely different business model. And what are we doing? We met with one of the top people in this business, and this guy is just super helpful, sharing a ton of knowledge to help us get started on this new business venture. And it's just like, I'm here, right? And those are the people you want to find, right? Those are the people you want to find. You can tell he's genuine. You can tell he's going to help us take this business to the next level. Myself, Matt, and Michael, we don't know really anything about this business. In fact, the more we dove into it, we just took action and jumped into it. And the more we dove into it, we were like, man, we really got a lot to learn. But what are we going to do? We're going to put our heads together. We're not going to give up, right? We're going to continue to utilize our resources, and we're going to make this business work. It's just, there's no other option. You have to.
Yep. And really, we talked about perspective last week. This is something that I think, again, I mentioned it earlier, but to really drive it home, you are not guaranteed tomorrow.
Yep.
You're not guaranteed the next 10 minutes. And you don't want to live your life with regret. If you have that burning desire, that passion, that drive inside of you, that you know that there's something you're destined for, even if you don't know what it is, you have an idea of what it is, go. You got to go.
Yeah. And the fear is going to be normal, right? We talked about everything you want's on the other side of fear.
100%.
Here's the one thing you got to ingrain in your mind. Who cares if you fail? Who cares?
Yeah.
You start over again, and then you do it again, and you use it as a learning moment. I've had many failures in my life, and I'm sure you have had, as well.
Yeah, 100%.
You're going to fail, right? Stop looking at failure as a bad thing, right? It's not. We talked about that in last week's podcast as well. So if you want to check out episode 5 as we eat the reaper, and then also talk about, the failure side of things, and it not, it being okay to fail. Feel free to check out episode 5.
That's almost like a good way to describe a failure is eating the reaper, man. Today I'm eating the reaper.
What do you mean?
No, I'm not. I'm saying
I am not eating one.
No. You missed it. I'm trying to make a metaphor here.
Okay,
failure is like eating the reaper.
I'm not
I eat the reaper
metaphors
today.
and analogies and all that stuff. You're the English major. Go ahead.
Anyway, we're bringing this one home here. As we close out the episode, we mentioned last week about the accountability webinar that we're going to be doing. That's going to be coming the 3rd week of November. I think the week of November 18th. Yeah. I think that Wednesday. We're going to have all the specifics, the invite, all that ready to go. In next week's episode, that's going to be October 28th, I think, next Friday.
Yeah.
Next Friday. So we'll have all that so you can sign up for that. And we're going to be talking about how we hold each other accountable, the importance of an accountability partner. We'll have something special too. We're trying to connect with people in our audience who want to bring that accountability into their lives. So make sure you check out next week's episode, because we are going to cover all of that. And I think that's a good opportunity to bring it home. Anything else you want to hit on there, Mr. Fontana?
No, sir. Your wife's going to walk in, so you're going to be in trouble.
She's plugging in the lights.
No, that's it.
That's it.
Close it out.
Let's close it out. So again, this is episode number 6 of the Courage Pays Better Than Fear podcast. Hit the like button.
Smash the subscribe button.
We love the word smash. Drop us a comment. Reach out to us. We would love to connect with you. We'd love to get your question on the show. And we will be back next week with episode number 7. Lucky number 7.
Lucky number 7. It is my favorite number.
There you go. And remember, courage
pays better than fear.
Have a phenomenal weekend, everyone. Take care.